Okay, guys, this is something cool I got, and I'm going to have to take them out of the package, so hold on. All right, what we got here are little spotlights that will go drill into the bottom of the door. They even give you your own little drill bit to add in there. And what they'll do is they're going to end up putting a little Honda symbol down on the ground as you open your door. So again, I'm going to try to get Adam to install these when I get a chance. Now, the first part of this installation is pretty general. You just have to take the doors off. Taking the doors off are not all that hard on the Honda inside. Basically, it's a single screw. First, you got to pop your window controls and so forth off, and then there's a single screw down there, pretty much right there by the where the controls are. And then basically the rest of it's clips. Now, on the driver's side, you do have the trunk release button that has to be unplugged. Along with my particular car, obviously, I have to unplug the ambient light that I have in there. Now, I have various other things installed on this car, obviously, besides my speakers. I also had the door sill lights installed in an earlier video. The plus of that is that it made for easy access to power, so I didn't have to, the door sill lights will shut off once the car is in full drive mode, and they shut off properly so they can shut off the these little spotlights off at the same time. Otherwise, you might have to run it into the direct circuit box itself, or you would have to run it into, let's say, possibly the door jamb plug, to make sure they turn off when you close the doors. Otherwise, they'd be on all the time. As I will get to later, it doesn't really make much of a difference with these, and I'll tell you why as we get towards the end of this. Now that we have the door off, we'll be drilling a hole underneath. Now, the funny thing is, on the bottom of these doors, there's a little circle down there that's almost the exact size of what this light would be. I have a feeling that was basically either it's part of the mold of the door, or as a general design, it could have been where an accessory might have gone in at some point inside the door. But basically, we just drilled directly through that hole, that little indentation, or that little. It's basically shaped like a hole. I mean, it's literally as if something's supposed to go there, or it's just a part of the mold. But we were able to drill directly in there, take it right off, and it was pretty simple to take it out. The thing comes with its own drill bit to make it even easier to do. And that's basically what what the piece looks like. That's what's going to be cut out over there. Now, putting the light through, these things basically, they come apart in multiple parts. You just run your wire through, bring the light through, and then you basically screw it from the bottom. Now, after you screw it from the bottom, you'll have to aim the symbol, basically twist it on the inside to aim the symbol to make sure it faces the right way. So when you open the door, it's not upside down or some kind of silliness. Now, what I also ended up doing is, while these were directly tied into the electrical system straight through, what I ended up doing is I ended up having those lines cut further up the door and then connected and have connectors put between. So if I ever had to take the door panel off, we literally could take the connector out. Now, you may have seen a big black bulb there. That actually is if I remember correctly, that is a fuse. There is a fuse in between, just in case something gets shorted or something. A fuse will pop instead of something catching on fire. That right there, that big black thing right there, I believe that's a fuse right there. At this point, we do the full install. There's the fuse again. Just pop it in there, basically, and once you get it in there and you push it in, you basically can screw the bottom part on, and that will tighten it up, and it sits in there very well. It fits very well, and it's very unobtrusive, and you don't really see much to it. Obviously, you put some padding around some of these, like the fuse holder and so forth. Put some padding around that to keep it from doing any kind of rattling inside the door, especially since I tend to play my music pretty darn loud in the car. But basically, here's just screwing the back part on. and getting that all set up so it's ready to be hooked into the electrical system, which turns out to be a bit of a deal to do, mostly, obviously, for various reasons I'll show you in a second. Okay, looking here, you can get a general idea how the wiring literally has to go through the back of the door, and it has to go through the little corridor between the door. It's basically a wiring harness, basically that protects all the wires from the door opening and closing. I'm going to leave it here and freeze it at this point. You can see here this frozen position. You'll see that there is a lot of wiring involved in getting through here. Basically, you just need to get power off the sills, the illuminated door sills that I have, and then the rest of the wiring. The nice thing about having the door sills is that would automatically take care of powering the lights on and off as necessary. There was other associated wiring. The hardest problem was getting it from the door frame into the actual cabin itself. The big problem with that is obviously you got to get it through the little boot and opening. That way you don't end up with any of your cables getting smushed or destroyed or in the process. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like I have any idea how this wiring is done, but it is basically simple. It just takes a lot more. It just takes a lot of time and effort to get it through the boot and so forth. And then, after this, I'll give you an idea of what it looked like afterwards, because it actually, they do turn out very nice, but there is a problem, and I'm going to let you know what the problem is right afterwards. As you can see here, this is what it looks like when I open it up in my garage. It looks very nice, bright, very good looking. I also give you another shot of what it looks like outside with my puddle lights on and everything. That's what it looks like in the car door and so forth. Definitely very nice. Now, what's the problem with them? Well, they work very well for a couple of months. The problem is that whatever cheap Chinese paint they're using, and they use some cheap shit, the problem is that they start fading very quickly. And at least with the external ones that you can basically tape on there, you can basically, I guess you could change them out if you want to. I could change these out also if I wanted to, but they literally lost a lot of their quality of the look of them within, say, about 2 months. Within 2 months, they were faded. And I had them checked recently. I wanted to make sure that the reason that, I didn't know whether it was actually due to cheapness or if it was really due to the fact that maybe they were staying on when I closed the door, which was very possible. I wasn't sure whether they were properly hooked up because we had to do a little finagling to get them to work to make sure they were set up right. But they are working right. So do I recommend them? Well, they're pretty cool for a short term, but keep in mind, unless you can find a distributor that puts out some expensive, good ones, I can't guarantee that they're going to stay looking good for a long time. So was it worth it? I guess in the end, for 2 months it was worth it. After that, I guess they could just be spotlights to light up the ground, or I can go in there and repaint them a little, get someone to paint them up again, maybe with some heat-resistant paint, although I don't know how much heat the freaking LED's putting out, but apparently enough to fade out this paint. So that's all there is to this one. Very cool little idea, and they work pretty well, but they didn't hold up. They were very cheap. They was like $8 for the pair. So, I mean, I guess the old adage is you get what you pay for. Do I want to fool with them? I don't know. I guess we'll find out a little later. But that's all I got to say. Verdier out.